All right, guys, welcome to Marketing Cheat Guides. Today I have on the show Paul James, who runs a YouTube channel, I Am Paul James. He is quickly scaling up his channel. I've been watching him now for the last few months. He's taken his channel from 10,000 viewers this month up to 35,000 at this point. He has a ton of great insights that we can all benefit from in the marketing community. I decided to take him on the show and pick his brain. Paul, thanks for joining us today on the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started?
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. I appreciate it. So I got started about maybe 8 years ago now? Yeah, 8 years ago, 2010. And I started off, I was in nursing school at the time, actually. And I was doing nursing because I was working for a heating and air conditioning company, and I had gotten laid off, which wasn't really out of the norm because I live in Wisconsin. I don't know if you can see out my window. It's like super snowy out. But I live here in Wisconsin, and we get like these times a year where it's either like super cold or super hot, but then spring and fall comes and there's not much going on. So I got laid off, and I was just like, what should I do? And naturally, you know, we're trained as Americans to go to school and get a higher education. So that's what I did. And while I was in nursing school, just to kind of make a long story short, I ended up coming across search engine optimization and basically figuring out and experimenting with that whole aspect of things. So that's kind of how I got into the whole digital marketing world.
So when you first made your break into digital marketing, were you doing client, kind of like SEO type stuff?
Yeah, so initially, there wasn't a lot of people talking about client SEO back in 2009, 2010. 2010 is when I went full-time, but I was obviously experimenting with it just a little bit before that. And there wasn't much people talking about it, at least that I saw. So I was doing affiliate stuff at first, finding products on ClickBank and then selling them. I remember one of my first products was a doctor was creating these flashcards for people who were learning anatomy and physiology. That happened to be a class I was taking in nursing school. So I was like, what if I made a WordPress site and ranked it for anatomy and physiology and sold these flashcards on there? And I remember making like my first sale. I made like $20 in commission, and it was just like opened up to this whole world. And then I got to thinking about the heating company I worked for, and I was like, what if I could do the same thing for them and then start charging people to, like business owners, to get them more business? And the light bulb kind of went off, and I started moving in that direction.
Nice. All right. So as you started to move through there, what were some of the challenges you first ran into when you were starting, right? Back 2009, 2010?
Yeah, you know, I came from a band at the time. I was like touring around in like my spare time and like playing shows and stuff like that, like a rock band. Yeah. I had super long hair and stuff at the time. And, you know, I got into the whole online thing because I didn't want to have to like meet with clients and stuff like that. So one of the first early challenges I faced, I think probably the biggest thing for me was I didn't want to meet with people. I got into online marketing to be behind the computer and not have to like go out and meet with people. So that was kind of challenging to figure out a way around that, especially when you're providing professional services. You know, people usually want to meet with you, or, you know, it comes up here and there. Not everyone, but some people do. Some business owners don't care. They're like, just do it and take care of it. And others are like, let's come into my office and let's talk about this. So, yeah, I think that was one of the biggest challenges I faced, you know, starting early on.
Cool. All right. So you've transitioned away from kind of affiliate, or are you still doing affiliate today? I mean, certainly I would think the most pronounced thing you're doing today is definitely managing your YouTube channel, putting out a ton of content. But have you made a transition kind of away from affiliate, or are you still doing that in the background, just using YouTube as a way of attracting people in?
Yeah. So with YouTube, it's kind of interesting because you have a lot of different revenue streams going on. And I originally started YouTube as kind of a two-pronged approach. Prong number one was because I figured I could start training people how to do SEO and kind of add like this other facet to my business where I'm not just doing SEO for people, but I could train them how to do it and they could pay me. And the other facet was I could start using it as referrals, because people are going to come to my YouTube channel, realize how complicated SEO is, and then hire me to do it for them. So I started to get a lot of business just from that as an offspring of it. And then I started doing a lot of affiliate stuff. You know, there's a lot of good software that's on, you know, SEO and backlinking and stuff like that, and just a lot of like client getting software. So I started doing that, started doing some affiliate marketing. And then there's AdSense on YouTube as well, which is big. And then I've got my products of my own as well, which I sell. And I started getting into like the software business and developing my own software as time progressed. But that came way later.
Okay.
So yeah, there's kind of like a lot of different revenue streams going on that you can tap into with YouTube. And I'll say in the business side of things, the AdSense revenue is a lot better than, say, like, you know, like the comedy channels and stuff like that.
Because of the nature of the people that are watching your channel, you mean?
Right, because advertisers are willing to pay a lot more for one of my viewers versus one of like Jake or Logan Paul, you know?
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
there's a differentiation. See, I'm fairly new to the YouTube scene, so I didn't realize they differentiate between the type of traffic you have on your site. So the more engaged or the more valuable that person is to an advertiser, the more they're going to pay per viewing.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I came into it like leaving ads turned off completely. I was like, I don't want to ruin my user experience. I just want people coming in to learn, and you know, if I make $1 or $2 per 1,000 ads, like whatever, I don't even care. So I left them turned off for probably like the first 5 or 6 years of even doing YouTube, just completely turned off. Then I figured, well, what the heck? I'm starting to get a pretty big audience. I'll turn them on, and you know, people can skip over the ads if they want. They only have to watch it for 5 seconds, and I found it really didn't hurt my user experience. Like no one complained about it or anything like that. And for the most part, you know, people are just so excited and happy about the content I share that they're just like dedicated fans and willing to, you know, watch the ad if they have to for 5 seconds. So, yeah, but they're willing to pay a lot more, advertisers are, versus, you know, a different channel. Like I look at some of the revenue stats of like other channels that are more mainstream, like Jake Paul or like PewDiePie and stuff like that, and they're only getting like $1 to $2, whereas I can get upwards of 10 times that on my channel. So
when you're saying $1 to 10 times, is that per 1,000 views, per 100 views?
Per 1,000 views, yeah.
Per 1,000 views, okay. And does that per view, is that based on them watching the 5 seconds, or is that based on them watching the whole thing through, like the whole commercial?
You know, I'm not too sure actually.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's averaged. It's averaged on the views you have, not necessarily the ad time watched. So it's just like if you've got 500,000 views this month on your channel, you can roughly estimate that most people are making, you know, I guess you would take like 5,000 or 500 since it's divided by 1,000,
okay,
and then times that by like 1 or 2. So, but for me, it's like a ton more because I've got a bigger demographic of people who are more serious about business and stuff like that. So people are willing to pay a ton more for ads.
Okay, so let's dive into some of the tips and tricks you've learned. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. Your channel's gone from 10,000 nearly to, you know, it might even hit 40 by the end of this year. So it's like 4x on large numbers. What are some of the things that you've learned over your journey that you wish you would have known, let's say, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, that we could share with our audience that you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, sure. So I got back from Florida in February or March of this year, and while I was in Florida, I like, you know, vacation's a good time to kind of think about where you want to go with your business and what you want to do. And I started to get to the point where it's like, you know, I really want to focus on YouTube as a way to help people and a way to like grow my audience, rather than like I was doing a lot of other things. I was doing product launches and, you know, client SEO and all that stuff is great. I still do that stuff. It has its place. But I really, really wanted to focus on YouTube. So I started kind of looking at like what all the other bigger YouTubers were doing, not necessarily in my space, but in like the other spaces. And I noticed that one thing that they were doing, the channels that grew really fast, like Jake Paul, for example, his channel like exploded. He came from Vine, and he had, you know, kind of like a little bit of an audience. But then I looked at like what he was doing, because you can look on Social Blade and kind of reverse engineer their channels.
Okay.
And the one thing I noticed he was doing was he was posting every single day. Like literally every single day. He did not miss an upload, and his channel like exploded with growth. So I got to thinking, you know, YouTube must be rewarding him with views. Their algorithm must be rewarding him with like more views because of the amount of work that he's putting in, the amount of content he's putting out there. So that was the first thing I did. Number one was I came back and I decided on a weekly schedule. And I figured out that it didn't really matter if I posted every day necessarily, but I had to have a consistent schedule, like whether that be once a week or twice a week. So my schedule is usually every 2 days I post a video. So I stuck to that schedule consistently, and I think that's been a big attribute to my growth. The other thing is I think that they award engagement a lot. And one thing that I started doing was I started getting people, asking people to comment, asking people to like the video, asking people to subscribe. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just get into whatever they're doing. They don't really ask for anything. So that was one thing that I started doing. So if you can get people to engage with the video more and engage with your content, YouTube's going to kind of view it as going viral almost in a way. So I think that also was a big factor.
Awesome.
And then I looked at the videos that did well too. I tried a lot of different things. I thought it would be cool to start doing vlogs like Casey Neistat. So, I'm out trying to do vlogs, and they just weren't getting the views. Even though I like doing them, the viewership wasn't into them. So I looked at what some of my top performing videos were, and I tried to start making more of those. And then, I just kept doing that, and things kind of took off from there too.
So when you're pulling out your content, are you're obviously looking at what's working and making more of that type of content. How are you coming up with the ideas? Is it just repackaging information? And in your experience, is it more related to like the SEO of giving a great description and a great title, thumbnail? What are some of the things that you look at in terms of your internal checklist when you're putting out a piece of content?
Yeah, that's another thing, is the thumbnail. I definitely if you look at like some of my older videos on my channel, and it'll be very interesting for your viewers to do that. You can go and you can sort by oldest to newest in the video section. You can look at some of my earlier videos and the thumbnails are just awful, versus like now my thumbnails are like really, really like eye-catching and they grab your attention. So the thumbnail was one of the most important parts to like get people to click on the video. It's kind of like the email subject line. If you're doing like cold prospecting, that's the most important thing, is your email subject line. Well, it's the same thing for YouTube. It's kind of like you have this quick second to capture someone's attention. So I would come up with my video idea. I would come up with like, what my angle is on it. So yes, there's a lot of repackaging of information, but the angle is different. So for example, you might talk about making, a backlink or something like that, and teaching someone how to do backlinks. Well, that could be the content of your video, but the angle that you take on it might be different. Maybe it's making backlinks for your dental clients or something like that. I'm just giving an example, but you know how you could flip it like 100 different ways, having the exact same content. So I would kind of reverse engineer that, and then I would look at what my competition is doing for thumbnails as far as like the colors they're using and what they're doing, and try to outdo them, like make it pop more than theirs is. And I think that I've really kind of mastered that. They say like when you make something a habit, you get kind of good at doing it.
Sure. So
I was horrible at thumbnails at first, but as I started to force myself to do them, I kind of got better and better and quicker at them. So.
Are you doing them yourself, or did you find someone to do it for you?
No, I do them myself actually, which was hard to learn. But like I said, I would start off taking like an hour to make a thumbnail, and now I can make a really good thumbnail in like 2 minutes. So.
Awesome. So you mentioned Social Blade. I'm curious to hear A, what Social Blade is, and B, what other kind of softwares or things you use in order to help grow your business.
So Social Blade allows you to see what channels are doing, whether it be your own channel or whether it be a competitor's channel, what they're doing in terms of daily subscribers, what they're doing in terms of daily views, and if they're up for the month in views, or if they're down. So like I can look at like a channel's views, and I can see it'll say they're up 20% in views this month. So I know that whatever they're doing this month was way better than last month. So I can kind of go back and look at their channel's videos and see what they're making content on, and kind of reverse engineer that.
Okay.
So that's what I use Social Blade for. And I use it for my own content as well. Like I can use that to gauge, what's going on in my views and stuff like that. And then the other thing I use a lot is there's two tools. TubeBuddy is one, and then vidIQ is the other one. And I've been using vidIQ now, but I started off using TubeBuddy, and I'm kind of just playing around with both of them. They both essentially do the same things, though. They let you see your competitors' tags. They let you see what else do they do? There's a lot of really cool features. vidIQ shows you the views per hour of a video. Okay. So if someone posts a new video, you can see like how many views per hour they're getting and if it's doing well with the audience. Oh, and it also shows you what tags your competitors are ranked for and what tags you're ranked for, which is really helpful too. So you can kind of use that to go into your competitors and see, what they're going for and what they're thinking as they're putting out a video, and then kind of use that to reverse engineer too and figure out what kind of content you should produce and what kind of angles you should take.
Awesome. So when you're building out your content calendar, are you doing it for the week, doing it for the month, and are you ahead of the game, or are you producing the content you're going to post, let's say today or tomorrow today, and then just posting once you're done editing?
So it depends. I'm usually not a super prepared person, honestly. Okay. So I'm kind of off the cuff, like whatever's going on, I kind of think of it on the spot and shoot it and get it out the same day. But if I'm like going on vacation or something like that, I'll usually try and prepare my upload so I don't have to worry about it. So it just depends. And it also depends kind of what I intend on promoting. So like I said, I sell a lot of software and products as well, and I do it very soft selling. Like my goal is to provide value up front to the person so that they could take action on free information if they wanted, and to win over their trust that way, and eventually just get to the point where they're like, wow, he gave me so much free information, like I feel like obligated to buy this from him and like come into his course, and if this is what his free information is, like his paid information is going to be awesome. So I like to structure my content around that too as well. Like if I'm going to be, trying to push people into a software of mine, then I'll try to make the content around what that software is, about, to kind of push people into it that way.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of Jeff Walker.
Yes.
So he has
the launch.
He has that course. Yeah, the product launch formula. Yep. And if you check out any of his sales videos, it's all about like sideways sales funnels, I think he calls them, where they're taking people through a series of videos sideways instead of a sales letter straight down. Okay. So I kind of do that with YouTube videos.
Awesome. So how did you learn this? Like, I mean, obviously you've been doing it for a long time, so you've got some trial and error and some experience that's definitely been earned over time. But what are some of the things that you're consuming now that certainly to those of us that are earlier in our journey in terms of building a YouTube audience and or using YouTube as a channel to, grow either our businesses or client businesses?
Yeah. I think it kind of happened by accident. I started off uploading videos on YouTube back in, I think, 2011. And at that time I did it because I was doing SEO so much and people kept asking me, like what I'm doing and stuff like that. And I decided one day to put out a course on the Warrior Forum about it. And I uploaded my sales video to YouTube to host it there, to post it on the Warrior Forum. So I just started basically posting videos there for training and for sales videos and stuff like that as a way to host it, because I knew everyone could view the videos. They weren't going to have problems. Like if I would post it somewhere else, like Easy Video Suite or one of those other products that you pay for, like there's always going to be like that person who can't view it for some reason, like maybe they don't have the correct plugin or something like that.
Sure.
So it kind of happened by accident. And then as I started going, I started realizing, wow, some of these videos are getting traction and are getting views, versus on Facebook when you post something, it maybe has a lifespan of like 1 or 2 days, whereas YouTube, the videos keep getting views for years to come. So I started thinking like maybe I should just focus on this. And that's basically what I did. I mean, I just kind of took the same concepts of internet marketing and just put it into a video format, because I felt like, you could take like all the different stuff you do with like email marketing and sales copy, and you can apply the same principles but in a video format and structure your videos a similar way. A lot of things I like to consume. I've got editions of Funnel U sitting on my desk from ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
So I mean, I consume a lot of this stuff. I like a lot of Russell Brunson's stuff. His Expert Secrets book is really good. So that gives you kind of like ideas on how to like build a tribe and build an audience. Andre Chaperone, also very big fan of him. Okay. He has a course called Autoresponder Madness.
Yep.
Which is about email marketing and about storytelling. Yep. And I apply those same principles to my videos. So
I haven't checked out his course. Is it worth picking up?
Which one?
Yeah, the Autoresponder Madness. I haven't checked it out. Is it worth picking up?
Yes. Yeah, definitely worth picking up. Like, people do email marketing so wrong. Like they just are constantly pitching and pitching and pitching.
Yeah.
And like I've just like tried to focus like strictly on storytelling for almost everything I do, whether it's videos or whether it's email. And I just think that it comes off so much better and people are so much more receptive to it because you're not constantly pitching them something. Like so yeah, I don't know. That's another thing. Like there hasn't really been like one course on YouTube where it was like, do this. Like I think I bought one YouTube course that recently came out, and it's the only YouTube course I've ever bought. And most of the information I've learned has just been taking concepts from other things and then applying it to YouTube.
Might be an opportunity for you there.
Maybe, yeah. We'll see.
In terms of looking forward now, so I mean, you've hit that critical mass. It seems like you're at 35, but you think you did 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers in the last 28 days. So it seems to be building up. Yeah. Do you see are you going to run out of people grumping in, or is there so many people on YouTube that you feel like getting to that 100,000 is just a matter of time?
I mean, I think when you look at people like Ty Lopez or like Gary Vee, they're already, I think, in the millions. Like I think they're at 1 million. Okay. So, I mean, definitely, I mean, maybe it could cap out at 1 million. I'm not sure. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just kind of happy doing what I'm doing. And ultimately, I decided like YouTube was what I really wanted to do. I had thrown around the idea of like doing Twitch streaming as well. That's actually kind of like last year I was kind of focused. Do I want to do Twitch streaming? Do I want to do YouTube? Like, where do I want to go? I just knew I wanted to do something where I was on camera and where I was interacting with my audience. Like I said, I come from that music background, and I know how important cultivating a fan base is and nurturing that fan base. And I knew that I wanted to do some form of like on camera thing. And yeah, so I mean, as long as I'm doing what I love, like ultimately, like that's what it comes down to for me. And I see a path of 100,000 subscribers coming very soon for me, which is awesome. Hopefully 1 million one day, we'll see. I don't know, but you know, that would be awesome.
Cool. So how do you currently divide your time? I mean, you know, you're having to put out, you said you put out 3 pieces of content a week. Do you put them out on the same days at the same time, almost like you're publishing a new TV show where it comes out at 2:00 on Wednesdays type thing?
That would be the ultimate goal, but
okay.
I'm not sure I'm willing to give up that freedom of when I want to do something. Okay. So that's one thing, like why I got into internet marketing was because I liked doing stuff when I wanted to do it, not when I had to do it.
Sure.
So I'm kind of just committed to doing it like every couple of days and making sure I put out at least 3 videos a week. But I think that it definitely could help having it on a consistent schedule. I think maybe my channel would grow even faster because then people would come and tune in at that exact time, right, which would increase the views and engagement tremendously. Okay. So yeah, I definitely think it could help. I just don't do it.
Okay. And in terms of your day now, like how long does it take you? Do you spend 8 hours a day coming up with these 4 videos a week? How do you divide your time amongst affiliate versus, you know, if you're doing any client or any coaching, how do you kind of break up your time?
Yeah. So my time is mostly spent supporting current customers. So, you know, whether that be doing webinars for them or whether that be customer support or hopping into like my forum community that I have going on, I would say probably like 50% of my time is dedicated to that. And then I probably spend another 15 to 20% on my existing like SEO clients that I have, because I've got a team in place of about 10 people that kind of help me with that aspect of my business. So I've kind of set that up to be mostly automated. Yeah. So I don't have to play around with that too much. And I know you're kind of doing something similar as well, where it's kind of set up and you can focus on other things. So that's cool, and I've kind of got that on my background. And then affiliate stuff is kind of more on an opportunity basis. I only promote stuff if I feel like it's something that I genuinely like and will use, because anything I promote is going to be something that's going out to my viewers. So I want to make sure it's good, and I want to make sure it's something that is legit, that I actually use. So it's kind of more on an opportunity basis. I don't really like dedicate a certain amount of time to it. Like if it's 0% of my time, that's fine. If it's 80% of my time, that's fine too. It just depends on the opportunity.
Cool. So
and then I try to make my tasks like the stuff that burns me out the most, I try to do last in the day too. So that way I can focus on the most important stuff first and get everything done. Because if I do something that's going to burn me out like straight away, then I'm kind of like done for the rest of the day. So yeah. And then like 25% of my time is probably spent on making the actual content and stuff like that too.
Nice. So in terms of people you follow, is there anybody online that you're following that maybe, you know, is inspiring to you, that you've watched their journey and they're kind of scaling up? I mean, you mentioned Gary Vee, Ty Lopez. Is there anyone else that you keep an eye on that's kind of in a similar space, or that you learn from in terms of producing quality content?
Yeah, like I said, it's not even so much people in this kind of sphere of things. It's more I look on the outside of what's working in like the general mainstream, like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and like Casey Neistat, and I try to look at what they're doing to produce interesting content, because I feel like I can learn from that and bring it over to our community where it doesn't exist right now. You know, there's just so much there's so much just kind of like tutorial and boring stuff on there where it doesn't grab attention. Right. So I try to like grab these entertaining aspects over there and bring it over to our industry. So yeah, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Casey Neistat, just people like that who are kind of fun to watch, I guess, and doing different things and causing controversy.
Awesome. So is there any questions I haven't asked you that I probably should have in terms of what you've learned scaling up your business?
I don't think so. I think you did a pretty good job.
All right, all right. So I'll end with one more question for you then. What's something you spent let's say under $200 on in the last 30 or 60 days that you're enjoying playing with?
Oh man. Let me think. I don't know. I'm looking around to see if there's anything. I spend a lot of money on clothes. I bought this new iPhone X, which is okay.
It's my latest gadget.
A gimbal. Nice.
I bought the gimbal, so I'm always curious what people are spending their money on that they enjoy. So
yeah, I've got a lot of camera equipment. I've got the G7X over there. I've got a couple lenses. You can't see them.
What do you?
I shoot a G7X with more one-on-one vlogs because it's got the flip-up screen, so I can look at myself and make sure. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. I actually dropped this when I was in Florida. I had to replace the lens on it.
What's it called? G7X?
Yeah, G7X.
Canon. Nice. Cool.
Yeah, and then I shoot on a 80D.
Okay.
For a Canon 80D for pretty much everything else, and I use I forget what kind of lens it is. I use this lens, a 50mm lens, if I'm doing the blurred out background stuff, and then I use a more wide angle lens if I'm doing kind of more up in your face stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for joining us today on the channel. If you guys are watching, I'm going to be interviewing all kinds of entrepreneurs in the digital marketing space. If you haven't yet, give me that thumbs up, or as you like to say, crush that thumbs up button, and drop a comment below. We'll engage with you here on the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot for taking the time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Stuart.
And definitely check out the channel. I am Paul James. By the time you see this, you'll probably be at that 40,000 mark and growing.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks.